to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
And that divorce from reality worldview has, for many, many years, infected institutions like the Department of Justice, the FBI. How do you see that changing under Trump, particularly after the shock of the New Orleans terror attack on New Year's Day?
Well, you know, a counterterrorism and counter-extremism policy should be one of the most evidence-based policies in government. It should not be about pushing an ideology. It shouldn't be standing in front of a particular demographic and an electorate and saying, I've decided that X is the biggest threat. It should be based on what the biggest threats are. And, you know, this whole thing of, you know, that people like Biden for years have known that they'd get a sort of Democrat round of applause if they started talking about being against white supremacy. I mean, like, white supremacy is this thing where, like, everyone's agreed that they don't want it or like it. And nobody in the mainstream in politics or anything like that is pushing for the KKK to have a resurgence. When there is the occasional wacko white supremacist, everybody's joined in condemnation of them. But what's different, of course, is that when it's somebody who's an Islamist, as we had a number of attacks in America and Europe over Christmas carried out by people who appear to be driven by Islamic extremism, oh, well, those same people stop being evidence-based. In fact, they run away from evidence. They don't want to talk about that. Or we always get the thing of, this isn't the time to talk about it, and further down the line also isn't the time to talk about it. And actually, it turns out there's no time to talk about it. And I would just hope that there would be a realistic weighing up of the threats to the American homeland under the new administration, and weighing up those threats wherever they come from, and dealing with them wherever they come from. But we'll see. I mean, there's one of the things is that residues of administrations can last an awfully long time, particularly if they're of the left. They remain effectively in the trees and forests left behind by the retreating administration. And there will be whole structures in CIA, FBI, DHS, and others who will still be following the Democrat lead on this, even once the Republicans are back in. And that's one to really look out for, because it's one thing to have the policy, it's another thing to actually have departments and institutions of government that actually see it through.